Primordial Radio.
Primordial Radio, it is the Upvote 100 where we are counting down the top 100 new tracks of 2021 as voted for by you. At number 6 there we had Aiga with Lucifer Ex Machina, fantastic metal coming out of Mexico. And from Mexico now we are going to go to a completely different part of the planet, over to the South Pacific as we head to New Zealand. This is a band you've already heard from today with 2 tracks within the top 20, but getting a third track in the top 20. It is my absolute delight and pleasure to welcome Shaymen and Philly from Shepherd's Reign. Dudes, how you doing?
Hey everyone, hope everyone's doing well.
It's an absolute pleasure to speak to you. So as I said, you've got 3 tracks in the top 20. We've played 2 of those already with Manu, and I am probably going to pronounce this wrong. I've been saying it as Nga Ao E Rua. Is that right?
Sort of there. We say Nga Ao E Rua.
Nga Ao E Rua. Okay, right. So I probably should have just left the G out, so a silent G. But I struggle with basic English at the best of times. So thank you for the correction on that. So that was at number 16, and Manu at number 11, and Aiga with at number 5. And we'll come on to that in just a little bit. But first and foremost, we'd just like to say thank you for joining us here today, because obviously huge time difference. We're speaking to you from the other side of the planet right now, and it's great to have you here. So let's just get to know Shepherd's Reign a little bit more then, because my understanding is that the band actually formed like quite a long time ago, but you spent some time just kind of doing what most bands do, jamming in the garage and formulating your sound. But really it's in like the past sort of 4 years that things are kind of taken off for you a little bit.
Yes, that's correct. So I think the earliest members of the band would be me, Shaymen, and our guitarist, Oliver, who started jamming together around 2009. The band was, it was our previous band. And then we ended up creating Shepherd's Reign with new members around, I'd say, 2014, 2015.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a timeline somewhere, but yeah. But it's around then. The Shepherd's Reign started. And then it was 2018 when we finally thought, all right, let's get all our songs together. Let's try and create an album. I guess that's where everything took off. Then we released our album 2018, and that's pretty much where the story starts.
And was it like a natural gelling then when you all came together? Because we know what it's like when you can get together with a band. Sometimes it's difficult getting the band chemistry right, and you've been together for quite a while now. So it seems like collectively you all must, I guess, like have a strong connection with each other to, well, have not killed each other over the past 10 years.
Yeah, I think all of that is due to all the respect that we give and receive amongst ourselves, and chemistry is always pretty good. I mean, we're lucky enough we're doing band and jamming and stuff just for fun, and that resulted in an album, our very first album. And like Philly said, we thought it's a good idea just to make an album and put it out there, and thought about actually promoting ourselves for once and putting ourselves out there.
And how have you found that then when you say, like, talking about promote yourselves? Because it seems like you've had a massive impact on the scene in New Zealand, and now you're just kind of like at the beginning of your music going out to the wider world. But then, of course, we had a pandemic in the middle of that process too.
That's made it a lot difficult. And, when COVID hit, that was pretty much our foot into the door of the world. We had tours lined up and everything like that every band dreams of, and then that was all crushed by COVID. But that didn't stop us. We kept going, we kept writing, we kept trying to do video clips wherever we could. That's pretty much it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think staying proactive for us was the key to it. The chance will be there. We just need to keep striving for it and just stay towards it.
Yeah, I've no doubt eventually, things will open up again, and we're sort of, here in the UK, it feels like we're in between worlds because we're sort of geographically and culturally in between the States and Europe, so we kind of see both sides on the Atlantic of less restrictions here and more restrictions there, and so we're kind of a mixed picture. So it's interesting to see how some things are opening up in some places and not so much in others. But generally, I think we're on the right track, which is good. I'd like to get to know like sort of the real essence of Shepherd's Rain now, because you're coming from the Polynesian South Auckland in New Zealand and using the Samoan language, and to me it feels like over the years, many of the cultures in and around New Zealand have been greatly misunderstood, and we've seen bands like Alien Weaponry as well, and others in Mongolia. You got bands like the Who Band who are really shining a light on cultures, and it seems like you're doing that too. So, was it always like your sort of direct intention to, I guess, to really shine a light on the culture that you are a part of?
Yeah. So obviously we're all brown brothers, and we. It's not normal to see us brown people, Polynesians, into that genre of music. So I think it was a very long time ago. Me and Shaymen actually, we were having a talk, and I said, "Man, I'd love to actually sing in Samoan, or do something with the band with my language, because I'm fluent in both Samoan and English." And so I thought, well, this was years ago, in the very beginning of Shepherd's Rain. So as we went on, and then, I thought, man, you know what? Let's start creating new songs. New songs came along, and there was one particular riff that actually Shaymen came up with. He came up with it on the guitar. I listened to it, couldn't find any English verse to fit in there, and I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna do Samoan lyrics and see how we go with that, which is something that I always wanted. We did it, and it's just fit perfectly, and everyone was just like, man, this is going to be big, it's going to be huge. Around the same time, Alien Weaponry just started, and we started getting recognized for their te reo, which is the Maori language, and it fit perfectly. So now it's like it's like the era of cultures coming out, and I think it's an amazing thing that all these different cultures are coming out, and using metal as a way to tell their stories to everybody in the world, especially for us Polynesians. We're very small compared to the rest of the world, and it's good for the world to hear what we're made of. I started using the Manu, the Samoan lyrics, and the Manu. Started noticing that there were many more cultures out there in the world that were singing like Alien Weaponry and the Who, and I thought that's real. That's an awesome thing to have cultures telling their stories through metal, especially metal. It's one of the genres that you never really see in these types of cultures, but it's great to see that these other cultures are using it.
It's almost like an ultimate underdog story, isn't it? Because you said, the Salmon and the Polynesians, are smaller anyway, and metal is a genre that is largely outcast. But I guess almost there's like a natural fit there. And I think what you said, the Alien Weaponry and the Who Band, it kind of feels like a high tide raises all ships, where all of us are getting a greater understanding of these stories and these cultures through metal, which I think is a beautiful and wonderful thing. What would you say, like, if you had to kind of like pick out, I guess maybe one, because you probably have like various different stories that you're putting through your songs, what would be kind of like, I guess, one that sort of really stands out to you that you would put forward as like a first thing to, if you were to start talking about Polynesian culture, and perhaps one of your favorite stories that you would talk about, as to shine a light on it?
To be honest, I would have to go with Aiga, because our Polynesian culture, we're based on family. Everyone from Tonga, Samoa, Fiji, Maori, Aotearoa, all of us, we have one thing in common, and that's family. We love to share moments of our families. The rest of the world is like, you turn 18, your parents kick you out. In our cultures, we try our best to stay as long as we can with our parents, because it's just the buzz in our side of it. And I guess, if anything, Aiga, which means family, is one strong thing about us Polynesians. Yeah.
So family, obviously, a big link within the culture. But I think that's actually quite fascinating, because I think that family is actually something that can run quite deep within metal as well. There's definitely always a sense. We use the word here at Primordial Radio, community. We say, Primordial Radio, we're rock metal community. So it does feel like the two quite naturally go hand in hand. Actually, maybe I'm wrong, but I can't imagine almost like a 4/4 pop song around these cultures. May not work as well.
Oh, there's plenty of that around here. Not popular with the world, but our Polynesian culture, it's embedded in a few different styles of music, and pop music is definitely one of them. Meaning pop music, meaning like we tend to do our renditions of pop music. Yeah.
Of course, yeah. So when I said pop music, I was like thinking, your Taylor Swifts and not Polynesian pop music. Pop music, of course.
Yeah, that's right.
But no, I find this it's absolutely fascinating, and as I said, it's great that a high tide has been raising all ships around these stories around these cultures. And I think what's also really cool is that maybe 30 years ago this wouldn't have had the kind of impact that it has. And here in the UK and other parts of the West, it seems that there's a willingness to learn, and I think that is represented within the fact that you got 3 songs within a top 20. So how does that feel from your perspective? People around the world ultimately wanting to listen and take on board and ultimately learn about your culture.
I believe that's also true. When we mention the times that we are now, Philly likes to talk about that group Philly. He likes to talk about what do we call them?
Sorry?
Booyah Tribe. Yeah, that's the one.
Booyah Tribe, yes.
Yeah.
Booyah Tribe. Booyah Tribe, they're a gangster rap group from America, and they made it huge in the rap scene. But they were actually the first Polynesians to sort of do rock. Actually, they used to infuse rock, and actually, out of any artist out there that's done that, using the two genres together, Booyah Tribe were probably one of the very first to do it, or probably the first to do it, but it was way too ahead of their time. And they're all Samoan brothers. So it's about 5 of them. They're all brothers. And they pretty much brought the whole rock into the Polynesian sort of scene and the rap scene. But it was too ahead of its time, way too ahead of its time. And so it is I think we're lucky that nowadays it's we're starting to see a change. And for us, I think it's amazing that, and we're very grateful that everyone sort of listens to our songs, even though they don't even know what the hell I'm saying, or they don't understand the language. It's amazing to see, the attitudes and the reactions that we get back from them, that they'd actually like to hear more about our cultures and find out more about where we come from. And I think that was the whole point of,
and I think what you said there was right on the point, because I would be lying to you if I said, oh yeah, I know exactly what this is all about. I don't, but what's great is that it pricks my interest, and I go, that's interesting, and then okay, I like the song, I go find out a bit more, find out what the song's about, find out a bit more about the culture, start reading up a little bit, and you end up. Well, I end up in a YouTube hole until about 2 o'clock in the morning. And you're like, I gotta go to bed now. That's usually the way it goes for me. But I do think it's great. And I think it is wonderful the way in which you are bringing your culture to the world through heavy metal. And the response here on Primordial Radio has just been fantastic. So congratulations to grabbing 3 songs into the top 20, and obviously you mentioned the album back in 2018. You've been putting out these singles. What is next for Shepherd's Reign? Of course, COVID has stumped things, but I'm sure you'll be trying to plan ahead as much as you possibly can.
Yeah, I guess touring's been quite tricky, and we're actively working on tours, trying to keep up to date with that. But the main thing is the music. So we are writing more music, and we're looking to complete an album, and hopefully we can let everybody know when that'll be out soon.
Yeah, we've just finished filming for our new single, which should be coming out soon. We just filmed it in the weekend that just passed. So yeah, heaps of great stuff, and we can't wait to share it with everyone out there. We're excited.
I'm looking forward to seeing the video, because the previous videos you got, like Lemonu, just fantastic. So yeah, I've been loving those videos. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you here. So we're gonna play Aiga now. Tell me about this track then, the story behind this song.
Aiga. So in the very beginning, you can hear a traditional Samoan song sung before the song starts, right? And that song there is a song that my mother used to sing to me when I was a baby to put me to sleep. Now the song is about somebody that grows up in their family and then starts to think they know it all, and starts to don't want to stay here with my family anymore. I'm going to go out, have a taste of temptation in the real world. I want to go and taste the world. Then they go. They got all the money. They go and do whatever the hell they want, but later realize that they're not happy. They're miserable. They miss home. They miss their family, and they end up returning home. And so that's exactly what the whole song is about. It's about if you've left your family, or it doesn't even have to be blood family, just people that you're very, very close to, your loved ones. If you've been gone for a while, return. Show them that you're still there. Show them that, you love them and you miss them. And that's the whole point of this song. As angry as it sounds, it's not in nothing negative. It's all about family. It's all about love, returning to your family.
And whether we're in the UK, New Zealand, different sides of the world, different cultures, I think regardless of all of those differences, actually, family is the one thing that we can all relate to, is just one human being to another, regardless of what culture or country we may come from. So I think that's definitely one of the reasons there's been such a strong connection to your music. So number 5 on the upvote here on Primordial Radio, Shepherd's Reign and Aiga. Guys, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you for having us.
Primordial Radio.